What's going on, guys? Today I'm doing something crazy to this mini bike. As you saw in the thumbnail, it's not that extreme. I actually want it to work. So we got this little baby turbo made exactly for like 400 to 600 cc engines. Today we're gonna be getting it to fit in there. It's gonna make cool turbo noises, hopefully gain an extra horsepower or two. But yeah, I'll explain some more stuff the further we go. And yeah. So the very first thing I have to do, as you can see, I'm drawing out some flanges. This is like 3/8 inch plate, I think. So I got this is the exhaust flange. This is what the turbo actually bolts up to. So I'm gonna have to build an exhaust from the exhaust on the motor to this flange. Then from this flange, it'll go to the hot side of the turbo, which is this right here. So this will bolt straight to that. And then the exhaust on the turbo, you can see right here. Then I have to make some flanges for the cold side. This is gonna be the exit, which is gonna hold all the boost. And this is where I'm gonna be connecting the carburetor. So I don't have money for a blow-through carburetor. That would put less wear and tear on the turbo. But I am going to put the carburetor on the intake side of the turbo, so it's pulling air from the carburetor. It's gonna go all the way around and shoot out fuel and air through this side, which in practice, it should work, hypothetically. All right, here's how far I am on the flanges. You can see this one just needs some holes drilled into it. This one also needs some holes drilled into it. If we come over here, camera's being weird. I've cut out 2 other flanges in paper that I need to make. So I'm gonna draw those out and then cut them out. And then after that, we can start welding pipes to these and go from there. All right, so I probably have around 6 hours in this so far. You could see I made both exhaust flanges. So here's the exit and here's the entrance. Just short little pieces of pipe on it for now. I have to do something super custom for this top one right here. But the dilemma I'm at right now is I'm not really sure where this is gonna fit on the bike. This bike is huge, or the motor's huge at least. The bike is small, so I'm thinking somewhere around here. But I also have to put the carburetor on the front of the turbo, so that's gonna make this thing long. So either way I look at it, I think it's gonna have to end up sticking out of the frame, which I didn't really want to do, but I had a feeling I was going to have to. So it is what it is. But I'm gonna finish making the 2 flanges for the intake side of the turbo, aka the cold side, and then I'm gonna play around with everything and see where I can get it to fit. All right, so I've been working on the exhaust for the mini bike right now. I cut the muffler off, and then I welded some pipe going towards the front like this. That fits up real nice. Right here to right here is the piece that I have to make. This is where I'm gonna put the turbo. I think it's not gonna be facing, the camera keeps bugging. It's not gonna be facing forward like I would have liked, but I think it being kind of tucked away looks pretty nice. Anyway, I was going to just weld a piece of pipe over here from, this to this, but in order to get the turbo out, you can see it's like jammed in there. So I'm gonna put a V-band right here. So it'll be this to this, and then this piece to the exhaust flange. And I can take it apart right here and get everything off pretty easily. All right, we just made some massive progress. You can see now the turbo is bolted up, suspended by the exhaust. That came out great, I think. Here's how it looks on the intake side. See, I need to make something from here that goes all the way over and connects to this. It would be cool to put a little intercooler, but we'll see. Then I have to connect a piece from right here. I might do like a 90 and go to a carburetor that's pointing forward so it like scoops up some air. We'll see. Anyway, the next thing I'm gonna do, you can see this little pipe right here. I marked up like a little exhaust. Let's see. So I have to, fill in this with some sheet metal probably, or I'll probably just cut up some of my stainless and make that work. Then it's gonna go over and probably follow this and then go out the back. So I'm gonna get some of that done and then I'll update you guys some more. All right, so I just boxed it in down here. So now this is fully complete, going up to 1.5 inch pipe. I think it's actually 38 millimeters, 39 millimeters. Regardless, I'm gonna go ahead and make a piece of pipe that goes around right here. I think I'm gonna have the exhaust come out like here. It would be cool to have it go all the way back, but I think it's gonna be too heavy and it's gonna wanna crack. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you guys kind of what I got cooking. All right, so this is what I kind of had built up so far. I think I'm gonna put a 45 on this side and it's gonna angle kind of like this. But yeah, I think it looks fantastic once I weld it all the way up, of course. But yeah, there's your little update for the exhaust side. Once I finish it, I'll show you guys again, and then we'll start working on the intake side. And we're back. There's that little 45 I was talking about. I think it came out phenomenal. Just give you a little second to take it all in. Look at how it crosses over, as well as following the actual frame of the bike this way. I think it turned out great. Probably my favorite part about all this, honestly. But if we come over to the intake side, I started working a little bit now. So we got this little pipe going. Camera's tweaking. But yeah, I got some flanges made. So I need to connect this pipe to the actual intake of the engine, and then figure out how to get the carburetor to connect to this. So I'm gonna get that done, and then after that it's oiling, and then after that we should be able to start it. So we'll see, but I'll update you guys once I get the intake side kind of done, close to done, whenever, you know. All right, so we got some pretty big progress. I just got the intake side of things squared away. You can see I made a little adapter from the factory carb to the intake of the turbo right here. Then it comes out of the turbo through this. This is just a piece of 1 inch inside diameter silicone pipe, kind of like intercooler piping, if you will. This is so if anything moves, this will absorb a lot of the vibration. Then it goes straight into the engine. So all that's done, everything's hooked up with a turbo besides oiling. Oiling's the last step with the turbo, and then I have to figure out a bracket for the throttle. Right now I'm charging the battery, so that's why the seat's off. But yeah, so once I figure out all the oiling stuff, it should hypothetically run. We might have to tweak some things. Oh yeah, and I did put a low altitude sea level jet in the carburetor, so should give it a little extra fuel. I'm at like 6,000 feet right now, so we'll see. All right, so I've been welding up some sheet metal, got this weird funky shape. You can see there's a nipple at the bottom and a nipple at the top, just with some pipe. And then this is an O2 bung that I had laying around, so welded that on there so I could fill it up with oil. So here's my oil tank. Now I'll show you guys why it's a little funky shape. You can see I took the front wheel off the mini bike. That was a pain because the bearing seized to the actual bolt, which sucks, so I'm gonna have to replace one of the bearings. But we take this tank and it should just slide right in just like that. So there's my oil tank. I can undo this and still fill it with oil when it's all bolted up. Nice and neat. And yeah, I think I'm gonna make some brackets, just some normal ones like this, and then on the other side. But yeah, I think that's gonna work quite nice. All right, and just like that, the oil tank is done. You can see I got a little bit of fuel line on it. Now I'm gonna fill it with oil. I bought a little 12-volt oil pump that I'm gonna put in somewhere in here, wherever it fits. Then I gotta put a piece of hose. You can see the gaps pretty small actually, right here. So I gotta put a hose in between this. That'll be the drain fill it with oil, and then yeah, it should start right up. So once I get all that done, we'll do a little startup and show you guys how it runs. All right, everything's done now besides the throttle cable. As you can see, we got a little oil pump right there, all hidden underneath the seat. I think that turned out pretty nice. I have a clear hose on the top so I can monitor the amount of oil that's going in, see if there's any air bubbles or anything. This tank down here, the camera will cooperate, geez, is all bolted in nicely. Everything's good with that. Now, if we turn on the bike, it should start right up. All right, so I got kind of like a temporary throttle bracket made right here. It works enough to open the throttle, I guess. Anyway, I tried to ride it a little bit. It is tuned so horribly, and I don't know if you guys know, but these carburetors that come stock on these bikes are just garbage. I have a few jets for it, and I was kind of messing around with it, but I just cannot get it to run right and like build enough boost to really make it fast. But I tested it and made sure that the turbo is pushing out air. It totally is. It's definitely going to work. So yesterday was when I was actually testing everything. Yesterday I bought a new Mikuni style carburetor for it with a ton of jets. So I should be able to tune it quite nice. Also I bought some like miscellaneous stuff, like a little timer for the oil pump so it can like pulse once every 10 seconds, something like that, because it is too much for the turbo as it is right now. Other than that, I think it looks pretty great. The exhaust, definitely my favorite part. It is kind of hard to see the turbo. It would be super cool if I could leave it or like use the carburetor as like a blow through carburetor instead of a pull through carburetor, but it is what it is. So yeah, in a few days, I think it'll come, probably 4 days. I'll put all that stuff on. We'll get like a final reveal of the bike, some videos of it running, some little tests. We have a few other mini bikes that we could kind of compare it to, but yeah. All right, so it's been a few days. You can see, got the old carburetor, still runs like garbage. So now, this bad boy just came in the mail. This is a Nibby carburetor. This is 34 millimeters, so it's pretty huge. What I'm gonna do is pull this carburetor off and then make a new adapter just from this flange. So I'll cut that off and weld a 1.5 inch pipe to that. And then it just so happens that the end of that is 1.5. So do a little swapperoo. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this fixes my problem. I can tune it good and we could start ripping. All right, so I just got this piece welded up. You can see fits quite nice. Now I got some rubber, I got a rubber, actually it's silicone coupler to go onto this and then the carburetor. Yeah, this oil tank was leaking, so you can see I tacked up, there was a little pinhole, which sucks, but I fixed it, so that's good. And then, yeah, we'll give it a crank and try to start it. And bam, just like that, the new carburetor is on. You can see the throttle's hooked up nice. The fuel's all hooked up good. Now, the only part, also the biggest part, is getting it to run right, so it's all tuning. I was messing with it a ton last night when I got this carburetor on, and I got it quicker, but not quick enough, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna mess with the spark plug, definitely change the jets a bunch. I changed the jets 3 times yesterday, just like guessing, but that didn't work as well as I imagined. But I have an extra AFR from all the Turbo Hondas, so I'm gonna probably wire up an AFR and tune it the correct way instead of just guessing. So yeah, I'll get back to you when I get that all wired up, and then go from there. Hopefully we can make some serious power out of this. Alright, so that's probably gonna do it for this video today. I'm having some huge drivetrain issues. I have like a 2-chain jack shaft with a torque converter. It's stupid complicated for no reason, so I gotta fix that. But if you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more Turbo Minibike content, I totally want to stretch this bike in the future, but if you guys want to see more, let me know in the comments. I could totally make another video. And yeah, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and have a good one.